So, thank you everyone for joining us. Coffee with the Kingpins. We passed the coffee time, but we still have something to drink. I'm very excited to have Simon Chikorsky with me. He is my teacher, a good friend, and a renowned astrologer, and he's going to surprise us with the subject matters that we're going to discuss today. Welcome, Simon. How are you?
And it's still coffee time for me, so I still get to have some.
We're in
But
Arizona.
yes, thank you. Today, you asked me what I want to talk about, but one of the things that I keep getting questions about is what is the difference between Vedic and normal or Western astrology? And the answer is in the techniques that we look at the same stars, we look at the same heavens, but we apply different techniques, right? A chiropractor uses different methods than a massage therapist, than a shiatsu, than a acupuncturist or a Western doctor, but we all treat the same body. And okay, fine, but what are those techniques? What makes it different? And I find that the most important, the number one thing is something called yogas. Yogas is not planets bending, stretching to touch their toes. It's combinations of two or more planets or factors that indicate a specific result. Now, I'll give you an example of what I mean. We're
Before
just
you
looking
give
at a
an
chart.
example, can you also identify the difference between Vedic and Western? Because a lot of times people ask me, like, what is my rising? And when I say it's Libra, and they say, no, but somebody told me it was Scorpio. And then I have to basically explain the difference. So could you explain that very short?
It's boring. It's a little technical. It means there's a thing called precession that around the year 280 AD or whatever, the zodiacs were aligned. But since then, they have been separating, and it's simply because of how astronomy works and how the Earth wobbles a little bit. It's not a perfect spin. And because of that wobble, the tropical zodiac, Western astrology, which is based on March 21st, um, the seasons, right? The solstices and the equinoxes, versus Vedic astrology, which is not based on the seasons, just based on the stars. And those two zodiacs will differ and are drifting apart. They're about 24 degrees apart. So you're right. If you're a Scorpio in Western, you're probably a Libra in Vedic. But that means something different in Vedic than it does in Western. So you can't say, oh my God, no, I'm a Libra. No.
Yeah.
Anyway, but so that's the technical part of it. So yes, if you're an Aries ascendant in Vedic, you're probably a Taurus um, in Western and so forth because of that 24-degree difference. But don't let that throw you off because once you dig in, both systems work. They work and they just have different ways and they specialize in different things. So one thing the Vedic astrology specializes in telling you your destiny. Like what are
Mhm.
you meant to be? What are you meant to do in this life?
Right.
Western will show you your psychological patterns. Oh, you have a Jupiter Venus, so you tend to go to excesses of pleasure and dopamine is okay. But that could come out as someone who is a gamer, someone who is, it could play out in many different ways. Vedic says you have this combo, so this is going to happen, or this is the likely outcome trajectory of your life. And again, so back to the what I was saying earlier is the way we do that is through something called yogas, how two planets combine. So, for example, we just had a chart of a friend of mine. We looked at his daughter's chart. And if you look at it through the lens of just normal Western astrology or the houses, her second house is very afflicted. The second house is the house of money, but she makes a shit ton of money. So you wouldn't be able to get that if you're just looking at the second house of money. You would get it very quickly if you saw that she had these massive yogas for leadership, wealth, and job advancement. And it's a special yoga in Vedic astrology called Adhi. Adhi means you will constantly be growing in stature professionally and financially. So the fact that she has an afflicted second house will still play out. She will have, but
Got it.
within the context of being a millionaire. Okay. So millionaires can have money problems, but if you can't make your rent or buy food, you also have money problems, and it's just at different levels. And Jyotish, Vedic astrology, tells us which level you're playing at. So that's one of the key differences that Western doesn't have this system of yogas.
Right.
And I mean, the 30-second plug, shameless plug here. I am teaching a class on yoga. So if you ever wanted to learn Vedic astrology and what makes Vedic astrology the thing, this is it. This is the time because we're going to start with the most basic ones and go into why is Dua Lipa an international superstar? Why? She's pretty, she has a nice voice, but there's so many people with nice voices, so many people who are pretty, who are more musically talented, who arguably have more, right? She has massive, massive yogas for success in her chart. You look at that chart and you're like, it doesn't matter where you're born, in Greenland or in the South Pole, you will be a successful entertainer.
Right.
That's it.
Right.
So it gives people think that it's things are unfair in the music business and in the movie business, in the corporate world, in anywhere you look. But usually it's people who have yogas that tend to advance. And it seems not fair, but
They
it
must have
is
done
how it is.
something. They must have done some good deeds in the past life.
Yes, if you believe in karma, yes, that is true. And so then this becomes a mirror. You look at your own chart and you go, well, what are the good yogas that I have? So for me, I wanted to be a musician. I wanted to do stuff. I don't have yogas for that. So I would be banging my head against the wall. So now it's a hobby for me. But I have yogas for other things. So Vedic astrology is about showing you here's the reality of your life. You can choose to deny it or choose to go with it. This is where your open doors are, and this is where the closed doors are. You can try to break through the closed doors, but it'll require more effort. It doesn't say you can't do it. You can do it.
Right.
It will take a lot more effort, but why don't you try going through the open doors first and see what happens? So I became an astrologer. That was an open door for me. I didn't plan on doing this. It wasn't in my plan, but it's my dharma. Dharma is this word that means life purpose. It's part of my life self-expression to
When
serve
did
in
you
this way.
when did you get interested in studying astrology?
When
Tell
I
us
was
a little bit.
10, 9 or 10 years old, I was a kid and I was all just fascinated because I wanted to know what's my purpose. And I didn't know anything about Vedic until I was in my 20s.
Right.
I had already studied Western astrology and again as a hobby, not as a practice. And then I took Vedic and I'm like, oh wow, okay, this is it, and that was it. It got me.
Yeah, it's more in depth and so much to learn.
Oh yeah, and it
Constantly.
keeps you humble. There are a lot of jujitsu is very popular in the US now, and a lot of classes, gyms opening up everywhere. And I've done, a fair bit. And one thing you learn when you go into on the mat is that there's always somebody better than you. There's always someone who can, you think I'm 6'4", 240 pounds. I'm a big guy. There are people half my size who can take me out,
Right.
and you learn humility. You
Right.
learn that, oh my God, I thought if I were on the street, I thought I could pick a fight with this guy or this girl, but they can kick my ass.
Right.
And you learn and you realize, oh, this is reality hits you in the face.
Right.
And you go, oh my God, I got to be humble. Same thing with Jyotish. It shows you so many avenues. So it's so vast and beautiful. And you go, wow, nobody can know everything. And we just do our best. And it teaches humility, man, in a way that's not egotistical, like, oh, I'm so good and I'm so humble. No, screw that.
Yeah.
Real humility, right?
Right.
Uh, and there's a difference.
So, can you give us a couple of simple benefic yogas examples?
Sure, sure, sure. Okay. Moon and Mars together. Moon and Mars in the same sign or opposite signs. So either by conjunction or opposition. Now, if you're looking at your Western horoscope, you may see that maybe they're not together, but in the Vedic they may be because of that 24-degree change. So you
Right.
have to check your Vedic chart. Okay. But if you have Moon Mars together, this is a very, very cool combo. It means five, I can tell you 10 different things it means right now. But let's start. Number one, it means that you will want to follow your hobby will become your job. What you love to do becomes your profession. Not everyone gets to do that. Moon Mars people get to do that
Right.
because their passion is so powerful, they find a way to turn a profit from it over time. Okay.
So would
That's
that
number
also
one.
mean if the okay, I'm going to use Kendra's, but you know in Vedic how you have the houses and those
Mhm.
houses that are in angle are sort of stronger, so to
Doesn't
speak.
matter where it happens. Doesn't matter where it is.
So if you have a
Anywhere
moon
in your
square,
chart,
yeah, moon square.
anywhere, Moon, Mars together or opposite, you have this passion combo that creates, that turns your hobby, what you love to do, and you can't imagine doing anything else for work, and you end up doing that. Now, here's the cool thing. In a relationship chart, if my moon and your Mars are together, or your moon and my Mars are together, that also creates the same thing, and it creates a strong bond between us, one
Right,
that is lasting. Like you don't know why you have this bond with this person, and 10 years can go by, you call them, hey, what's up, and it's you're right there.
right,
Okay.
right,
So this works in your individual chart and also in compatibility. That's one thing. The second thing I will say about that, and I said I could tell you 10 things right off the top of my head, but the second thing is it is a money combination. So it says that you can make money from whatever area in the chart that falls in. So if it's in your eighth house, the eighth house is investments, tax, insurance, other people's money, and so forth. So you can make money from those things. If it's ninth house, it's travel and education. So you can make money from travel and education, right? So immediately now we're going to look at your horoscope and see where is this combo happening. And that area in your life you can make work for you.
right,
Mine, I have this, and mine is in the house that indicates working with clients, giving advice, and so forth. So that's what I meant. When I looked at my chart, I realized, oh, okay, I'm made to do this, what we're doing now,
right,
rather than something else.
right.
And you have this combo too, right?
Yes, I do.
Yes, you do, right? So um, the third thing is it will create passion and sort of a passionate emotional nature. The fourth thing is it can create some disturbances with the mother, especially early on in life, disagreements, and you wanting to go your way and the other way, because Moon is the mother, Mars is the very planet of individualism, and so forth, and so forth. And this is the kind of stuff we'll get into in our yogas class because you don't have to know a lot of astrology. You identify this, it's there, and you can say 10 things to that person, and that'll be $50, please. You can do a reading for someone with this
Yeah.
information. You know,
I wanted to
that's
also underline that Moon Mars in intimate relationships, I think you mentioned it, but that gives you an everlasting um closeness.
yes, and sometimes you can't explain why, but it's there. Like you're bonded to that person in some way, and there's always something to talk about
Right,
with them.
right,
And the relationships that last, we've done some of the stats on this. The people say two things. The first is that we continue to be friends, meaning you have stuff to talk about. You're not, a friendship is there's something fresh in you every day. It's not like, what's for breakfast?
right.
Well, why didn't you make the pancakes today? And where's the ketchup? That's not a relationship. That's not a friendship. That's a that's enemies talking, right? Like cellmates, right? We're talking about soulmates, right? Not cellmates, soulmates. So soulmates always have something to talk about, you
Right.
know. So that's
So
Moon Mars.
yeah. So give us another one. Let's say some yogas with Jupiter or Venus.
Well, what about Jupiter and Venus together? Jupiter Venus together is the teacher combination. Now, the interesting thing is that also it shows up in the charts of actors. But
Mm,
think about what an actor is in the classical sense. Go before movies, all the way back to the Greeks and before that. You are on a stage and you are presenting something of philosophical merit, a drama from which there is a lesson to be learned,
right,
right? That is what actors do. They present a life situation that is emotional, evocative, and then the audience goes home thinking about, oh my God, at least our life is not as bad as that guy, or oh
right,
my God, what was the lesson in that? So there is an educational quality with acting. So Jupiter Venus, when they're combined or opposite in a chart, that is a yoga for education. But it can also be stage acting, classical performance, or being in front of people like a TED Talk or something where you are an informed professional,
right,
a guru of some sort. And you mentioned the word Kendra, the angles, houses 1, 4, 7, 10, especially if it happens in 1, 4, 7, 10, your career, that could be your career
right.
as an informed professional that people turn to, a consultant, a teacher, educator, um, or a tech guru or whatever you're a guru of, whatever your
Yeah,
topic is.
right. There's another one, Jupiter Moon.
Jupiter Moon is very different energy, right? So we're just flipping, changing one planet, but Jupiter Moon together or opposite, or in this case, there's another way they can interact, being square to each other, creates a combo for marketing and public facing, outward facing occupation. So not working in a cubicle, not, being just all alone in like a research job in a lab somewhere. That's not Jupiter Moon. Jupiter Moon is, hey, I'm calling today to tell you about our new insurance policy and blah, blah, blah. But it also has to do with travel, marketing, advertising, public facing work, and generally it tends to make the person optimistic. Like, I can go out to a crowd of people and just talk to people.
Right.
I may not get a sale or I may not make a friend, but it's okay.
Yeah. So
Does it make
let's talk
sense?
about, yes, and let's talk about, of course, everyone is interested about yogas for making a lot of money. Can you share that with us?
Yeah, so this is where it gets, you have to have a little bit deeper understanding of the horoscope and understand what are the houses. So now we've talked about the planets. Any two planets or three or more together can create massive wealth depending on which houses they rule. So if a planet rules a difficult house, like the 12th or the 8th, it'll actually create yogas for poverty. There are yogas for loss of wealth.
Right.
But if a different planet owns the wealth houses, like the second and the 11th, and they come together, it can create wealth. So that is more specific to what is your ascendant and which houses are ruled by the planets. So I can't tell you, oh, well, it's Saturn and Mercury. No,
Right, right, right.
because it depends on the context.
Okay.
But Saturn and Mercury, if you have those conjunct or opposite in the Vedic chart, is a combination for business. It's very good for independent business, doing your own business, entrepreneurship.
Entrepreneurship. Any other ones that you can simply explain?
Well, join the class. We will cover all of them, I swear. And look, depending on what your level is, if you're a pure beginner, you're going to enjoy it. If you're an advanced practitioner, you will enjoy the review in the beginning, but then we will get into more advanced and secret stuff that a lot of Vedic astrologers don't even know.
Right.
Because a lot of yogas, even ones that are like exactly for money and for wealth, a lot of people don't know them. And if you don't know, then you miss out. Like that chart I told you at the beginning, that young lady, you
Yeah.
just look at her chart, you're going to say, oh, she's poor.
Right.
No, she's a millionaire.
Right.
And you can see why the moment you look at her yogas.
That's interesting. So, a little bit about compatibility. So where is Delano? That's the app that you've taken.
Delano is still the top, the cream of the crop app for compatibility, in my opinion.
Yeah.
There's a small learning curve in learning how to use it, but Fees is an expert. We have a lot of experts who do it, but uh,
You meant
you know,
me.
compa Fee, yes, that's you. Um, so look, the results continue to astound me that when you look at couples and statistics, there are two things that come forth in couples that make it. And one is, believe it or not, the measurements of sexual chemistry.
Hmm.
That has to be there. And it's not just for the actual sexuality, it's for having that like passion we were talking about to where you wake up and you're like, what are we going to do today?
Hmm.
Instead of, what's on my pancakes? God damn it, you made the same thing yesterday. That's not passion. That is death. You've died. You've died, right? Or that person has killed you and you're killing each other.
Right.
So when we see good combos for sexual chemistry, this surprised me. I did not think this would be the case, but it is. That tends to indicate a long-term successful relationship. And there are a number of them, number of ways you can see that. One is through the measurement called yoni, but another is through what we just talked about, Moon, Mars. There are other ways that you can look at sensuality. There are a few ways, but
Right.
that metric is surprisingly accurate and it blows my mind. The second metric that is accurate is something we call what am I to you,
Hmm.
which says, look, you may be beautiful, I'm beautiful. We may like each other, great. But when we're together, what do we bring out in each other? Do we bring out friendship? Do we bring out children, travel, career success, love and romance, sensuality? What? Hatred, loss of money? Elizabeth Taylor and Richard Burton. Now, this is for, you know, a couple generations ago, right? Famous couple who got married and divorced, got married and divorced, so much passion. They there were no tabloids back then, but whatever tabloids existed, they caught them on this yacht in the Mediterranean, naked, you know, just having the time of their lives. They have combos, a lot of 12th house combos that say they will drain each other so much that they can't sustain the relationship. Both their financial energy, they both spent a lot of money, their life force, and just their ability um, to put up with each other.
And I
And
think
so
they
after a
both
while,
have some toxic habits in one another, like
yes,
alcohol.
alcohol for him and
Pills.
whatever it was for her, yeah,
Or she did
yeah,
pills and alcohol, I think.
pills, yeah. So that's what they brought out in each other. That's the thing. And even though they had so much passion and chemistry, if you don't bring out the best, after a while that takes its toll. And they divorced, and they still loved each other very much, but they couldn't be together.
Yeah. I think it was very interesting because I was in the journey with you, learning with Delano and all the compatibility aspects. And it was interesting because as we went along, we found more, we sort of got more and more in depth as far as, oh, what is important, because there is also the compatibility connection, but over time we saw, and also like karmic connection, and over time we saw that no, those are not as important as whether you have that sexual connection or, you know, what you
You
bring out in one another. Like, are
think
you
about, yeah, my famous example is Romeo and Juliet.
right,
They were incredibly compatible. They couldn't stay away from each other, but they brought out death in each other. They
right,
brought out literally the worst possible outcome.
right,
So,
right,
in
right.
the end, is it a good relationship or bad? Well, it depends on how you look at it. They were very compatible,
Yeah,
but they also were the cause of each other's downfall.
right.
So, sheesh, wow, heavy stuff, but life is like that. And have you ever been attracted? I mean, I'm talking to the audience here. Have you ever been attracted or with someone that is like you just don't know why, but you have to be with them, but you know they're not good for you, or you know that it's not going anywhere. And
Sometimes that's like karmic relationships, though. No,
yeah,
because I mean, we always have to learn something from relationships, but some can be good and some can be possibly, uh, karmic, where, I mean, we are all born here and then we have a brain, I mean, mind wipe. So we don't
yeah,
remember, who
yes,
abused who in a past life, but ultimately you come together to pay and balance the, what is it? Balance the karma.
you come to realize who you are as a spiritual being ultimately. And man, there's so many dramas that we engage in. And again, this is why it's good to have your chart, which is a map. I call it your life map. In
Yeah.
fact, on YouTube, I have free classes called Decoding Your Life Map with Vedic Astrology. It's my most popular class. It's free. And it teaches you how to take this little square on a piece of paper and decode what the planets, what the stars have are saying for you. Where is your life going? And you can do that. You can do that in a weekend. You know,
Yeah.
you look at it and it's free. That class is free. Then if you want to go deeper, you can come learn about yogas and stuff. But having that map is a great resource because it helps, at least it's like a compass, helps keeps you going in the right direction.
Yeah, I think it's so important. And that was my next question. Um, what kind of people do you feel are interested in learning astrology? I mean, what is the first reasoning, would you say, for someone being interested? I mean, that could be varied, but I mean, I don't know, maybe this is a broad
think
question.
it's I think it's folks who have a sense of the numinous, that thing that is beyond the senses of wonder, but also have their feet grounded in reality because astrology is all about first of all, it's mathematics, you know, there's a lot of logic involved and so forth. So it's not like this airy fairy thing like, oh, I'm channeling dead spirits. No,
Right,
that you can't really verify. It's based on specific data, etc. So it's people who have both aspects of their brain developed that they're not closed to the mystery of life, and that there's divine sort of workings in the mechanism, but there's also a mechanism that can be predictable, that can
right,
be predicted, and it takes that special person who has, you know, who is open to both of those things. It's like two wings of a bird. It can't fly without both.
right.
You need the practical and the mystical, and that's what astrology provides.
Yeah. I also think a lot of people who are interested in self-knowledge or are focused on um,
Yeah,
elevating their abilities or learning more, becoming more in touch with themselves, they're also interested because that is like, I call it the blueprint of who you are. And it really opens up to understanding yourself better. And then it's a fabulous way of being guided as far as what do I need to do if I want to acquire this or acquire that, what is my path or what should I do, or that I think it's really 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 interesting. But
yeah, you nailed it. You nailed it. That's right. It's a guidance system
yeah,
for, like, every aircraft has a guidance system, you know, or else
and
it'll
going back
crash.
to Delano, or the compatibility charts, that also I think is amazing because it can make your life so much easier, when you're starting to date someone, to look and see, is this, I mean, if you're looking for a long lasting
I
relationship,
think everybody who's on a dating app needs to hire someone like you say, and say, look, I'm going to meet a few guys. Can I send you their info and you tell me which ones are worth it? Oh my God, you save so much time, so much money, so much heart, effort, and heartache potentially. Because if out of those five, she selects one or two that are worth going on a date on, then you could put all your heart into that.
yeah,
So I think having that guidance is immense, and people should call you and they should get that even with their own husband or wife.
Yes.
Even if you're married,
Right.
knowing what works. Oh my God, I've done sessions for married couples, and the moment I identify this thing, oh, your daily habits are misaligned, and here's what you can do. And they're like, what do you mean? I'm like, well, one is an early riser and one goes to bed late. And they're like, oh my God, that's such a thing between us because he makes noise when he gets up early, and then vice versa. I make noise when I go. I'm like, yes, I know, it's right there. So here's what you can do. In the moment another person identifies that they know they're not crazy,
Right.
right? It's not them, it's just the nature of the relationship.
Right. Right.
So it's very helpful. It's I think it's more than very helpful. I think it's mandatory for most couples to really have this kind of feedback so that they can make the best of their relationship.
Yeah. And interestingly enough, I've had charts of people, couples that I have looked at, and a couple of them, for example, you can see that it's not so much their sexual relationship, but they're together because of their kids,
Yeah.
or they're together because of their profession, you know? So
Mhm.
it's really interesting because you can identify all these different
So
aspects.
if you haven't already, get a reading with Fee, whether you're in a relationship or not. Um, if you're in a relationship, we just told you why. If you're not, you can, I mean, I don't know if you do packages or what, but like, the next few people who come along, you can do their charts and save that person save your client a lot of headaches and so forth.
Yeah, yeah.
And
What are the golden nuggets, Mr. Simon, would you like to share with us?
I think we've shared golden nuggets enough. I think a golden nugget is golden because it's rare and it's difficult to get. If we have a giant plate of golden nuggets, then they're not as desirable. So I'm actually going to have to call a hard stop here in a couple of minutes.
Okay.
But the golden nuggets, if you haven't had any yet, then maybe you're not listening to the podcast well enough. I think
But
that
I
is
wanted to,
the
go ahead, finish, sorry.
go ahead.
No, what I was
Oh
going to
no,
say,
no, I think. Huh? Okay, no, go ahead. Sorry.
what I was going to say is, you at this present time are having KP class, which I know we're kind of at the end but juncture, but every class is recorded. Can people join now? Because that's really, really interesting as far as
Is like advanced Jedi level Vedic astrology. So if your listeners are ready for that, but they have to have a base in the essentials. You have to have at least beginner or intermediate level Vedic astrology to go to the Jedi Academy.
right.
And the Jedi Academy is where you meet and you realize, oh my God, this is a whole different level, you know.
Yeah.
But that's on my website, and I'm not. By the way, I'm not bragging about this because I get humbled every day, even by students who already doing it better than I am. So
Right.
my point is, it's not that I am teaching something that's Jedi. It's the material is what it is. So
Yeah.
anyway, yeah, people are welcome to join. It's not a private class; it's a public class. It's on my website.
Okay, well, I will for sure share your website, and thank you so much for today. Um,
Hariom.
Sarasota to Arizona.
Sarasota to
Even though you
Arizona,
have the
Arizona to the
trees,
soda and back.
yeah, even though you have the palm trees and the beach, but you're cheating.
I'm cheating. This is an avatar. I'm in the desert, man, which is why I have this background because my soul flourishes in this environment right
Yes,
here. And
yes,
so I may be joining you very soon in
yes,
Sarasota.
hope
We'll
so.
keep in touch.
Okay, thank you. And I
Thank
want
you.
to thank everyone for joining us at Coffee with the Kingpins and our chit chat with Monsieur Simon. Thank you so much. Please, if you like the content, give us a thumbs up, press like, subscribe, and share it with your friends. And this will be on YouTube, it will be on Rumble, and Shorts on Instagram. Thanks again. for being with us this Monday afternoon, and see you very soon. Thank you, Simon.
See you later.